Hey, it's Mr. Allred here, and we're going to simplify some expressions with exponents in them. We've got three problems here. Problem A, the first one, says 4x to the negative 3 times 2x squared. So these are two terms multiplied together. So what we can do is we can multiply the number part together and we can multiply the variable part together, and those happen differently. But what happens here is when we multiply number part, 4 and 2, we get 8. And remember what happens when we multiply exponent bases. So we're multiplying x to the negative 3 times x to the 2, and that means we would take the negative 3 and the 2 and add them together. So that would be 8x to the negative 1, but also remember we don't want to leave a negative exponent. And that negative will take it to the bottom, so it moves it across the fraction. So the way we want to leave this is 8 over x. Okay. The second one is two expressions again. It's 2x cubed y to the negative 3. And then that's times 2x to the negative 1 y cubed. So we can multiply like things together. So let's go ahead and say that we multiply the 2 and the 2 together, and that will give us 4. And then we want to say, well, there's an x. Something happened there. Let's see if undo works. Yeah. Then if we look at the x, there's an x cubed and an x to the negative 1. So that means we get to add those exponents together since the bases are multiplied. So x to the 3 plus negative 1. And then we'll touch the y parts. The y parts are y to the negative 3 times y to the third. So once again we'll add those exponents, which is y to the negative 3 plus 3. So let's clean that up a little bit. 4 is still 4. X is to the basically 3 minus 1, so that'll be x squared. And y is y to the negative 3 plus 3, so that's y to the 0. Okay, you don't have to write the y to the 0 because you should know that y to the 0 is 1. Anything to the 0 is 1. So that way we'd write our answer is 4x squared, which looks much better than the original. Okay. The last one, C, is the quantity of x squared y to the negative 1, and that whole quantity is raised to the power of 2, or squared. So remember what happens here. Basically, if you have something in parentheses raised to a power, that power impacts all the terms and exponents within the parentheses. And to get rid of it, we end up multiplying exponents. So x squared raised to the 2 will be x to the 2 times 2. And then y to the negative 1 squared would be y to the negative 1 times 2. So if we clean that up, it'll like x to the 4th for 2 times 2, and y to the negative 2 for negative 1 times 2. So we've got x to the 4th, y to the negative 2, and the way to clean that up, because we don't like the negative exponent, is to keep x to the 4th on top and take the y to the negative 2 to the bottom as y squared. So our final answer looks like the fraction x to the 4th over y squared.